Now, we're going to be talking a little bit of Legion. I haven't been keeping up with it either. Most of y'all out there being like, what the heck are y'all talking about this stuff if you're not even up and up with it? I want to get up in it. I've just been busy with trying to focus on video games and making sure that...
Robert wants to get up in it.
Yeah. But let me see. We got to get to 1:30. But yeah, so... Legion.
Yes.
Legion. You're up to date, right?
I am. There's 6 episodes out. It's on FX.
It's not even done, and you already got a second season approval.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on Legion so far, based off of the first episode? Because that when we talked about it the last time, there was only 2 episodes on. Because you remember you saw the second one.
Yes.
And I only saw the first one.
So, it is nothing like the comics. Not remotely. I mean, they're kind of now playing, hinting at the fact that, spoilers.
Alert.
Spoiler at 2:19.
Yeah. We apologize. We're trying to get this whole time signature thing done. That way we can edit these videos a lot faster and better for you guys. So
spoiler alert. They're kind of hinting now at the fact, and if you've read the comics, you know that Professor Xavier is Legion's dad.
Yeah.
And that, he becomes the most powerful mutant after his father dies, basically. He becomes, he's already really powerful, but his dad's technically, the most powerful telepath. So, when he dies, he becomes the most powerful one,
Right.
And,
so in the comics...
big shoes to step in and fill in.
Xavier is more powerful than Legion?
In a sense that, yeah, Xavier is more, refined as a telepath and stuff.
Sure.
And he's
I
got
gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Everything's honed and focused, whereas Legion is unstable. He doesn't know how to necessarily control his power.
Right.
But he's got so much untapped power because he can tap into, hundreds of different powers. So that's what makes him very dangerous and strong. So I don't know if they're going to play into that with this show, that he's got more than just being a telepath in here, but it's definitely been hinted at that. Well, it's already been addressed now that he's adopted, right?
Okay.
So that's been established. When he gets angry, like he does in the comics, his powers seem to emerge. He seems to be able to grasp better control of his powers, and it plays a lot with his raw emotion of what he can do because he gets angry. So
yeah.
And when that takes place, somebody's trying to hurt his girlfriend or something, he freaks out and he can teleport and do all this crazy stuff, and it's pretty badass.
Okay, so yeah, you still have more to go?
A little bit, but you
okay.
can ask your question.
No, go.
I was gonna say the underlying of the story though in the show is completely different than most of the underlying stories that happen in the new X-Men comics.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, quick question. I remember when we first talked about it, we had our theories as to where it was going to go.
Yeah.
My theory was that the psychological ward place was all his emotions and other personalities, and that some of the things were not actually happening and different stuff like that. And the first episode was very confusing. I'm sure you can agree with that, not knowing
absolutely.
what was going on.
Yeah.
Is that still the same to this point?
I would say that you were definitely onto something. You were definitely
Okay.
onto something. And spoiler alert for everyone. In the show, so the whole thing is him battling with his reality that he's actually not crazy, and it's been established he's not crazy. As a viewer, you realize that he's just a mutant, but he's struggling so much with who he is because he's got these identities inside him as well, and that's vaguely addressed as well. That these personalities and stuff. They think he's schizophrenic because he's hearing voices, but they're the voices of all the other personalities that he's absorbed.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a scene now, this last episode that left off, which Aubrey Plaza, amazing actress, right?
Is she actually doing very well in this show?
Yeah, so in the first, I think it's the first episode, the second episode, she gets killed off, right? In the sense that...
It must be the second episode, because the first one...
Yeah, in the second episode, she gets killed off, and there's a big thing that happens. She gets, stuck in a wall, she dies, right? like, but
Oh. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
that
the first
was the
episode.
first.
Yeah.
I was gonna say she dies, but she's in David's head, right?
Right.
And so she plays like basically there's this other entity like mute. I can't even say it because I have a stuffy nose. Sorry, guys. Mutant in his head, like kind of like I don't know, like a stronger telepath or something like that.
Right.
And an entity that's kind of taking over, and that mutant is portrayed in several different forms. Like the first one is very grotesque, fat, like shredded suit. Just they make him look very gross, and it's eerie just like seeing him. The other one is Aubrey Plaza,
Right.
and she acts all sexy and stuff, and she's like, like, come on, David, let me take over your mind. You think about how powerful it could be if we just joined together and stuff like this. And I've been with you since you were a little kid, and
Yeah.
all this crazy stuff. And there was a scene where David went to go rescue his sister from like the government agency.
Okay.
The team went after him. He got the team in danger. Somebody started shooting guns. Then it just clicked, right? Like went into like black, and it switched, and they woke up, and they were all in the mental ward together. They were all in the mental ward, and Aubrey Plaza was the counselor, and she was like asking about their feelings and emotions and stuff, and that's how like the 5th episode left off for the 6th one. The 6th one, they kind of started piecing together that things weren't right, and they weren't actually in there, and it was in his head, like they were in his own head, and like the ward, like you said, was kind of like a jail for those personalities.
Right.
Yeah, so he's like holding all these personalities in there, but his alternate personality, which is Aubrey Plaza, has taken over.
And she's the dominant personality.
Yeah, right
in
now.
him at that moment.
And it's like slowed time down, right? Like, because you can see, like, there's a scene where they go back, and like this one of the girls can like see kind of like what's happening, right? From David's mind, because she's in prison there still. But she can see like the bullets from the gun flying, and they're like getting closer and closer and closer. But time is so slow because they're in his head that like it could play out, and they could all be saved, right? But David has to wake up for himself and like use his own inner strength to defeat like this monster and control it. And he'll never really defeat it. That's the thing. He'll have to like hold it down, and like it'll just be in that prison. It'll be in that crazy loon house that he's got.
Okay, I got you.
And they do that in the comics. In his mind, he's got like this super jail where he keeps all these like different personalities.
Right.
Very interesting, and he can leech off them at any time.
So, my theory was the fact that his girlfriend was one of his personalities. Mm-hmm. That she was able to escape this imprisonment. That's
Definitely
how she's able to. Really, you think so?
Definitely not. Yeah. Nope. I don't.
Why would you say that?
Because there's too much defining evidence that she's not. You know what I mean? Like he goes out of his way to like make a place in his head where he can like mind meld with her so that they can like touch each other physically, because she can't touch people. Like it physically bothers her, and also if she makes contact with people, she switches bodies temporarily.
Okay.
So he made a play. He goes out of his way to like please her and like make sure that she's safe. So I mean, and everybody else can see her. When he's not around, like she goes on missions with other people. So I mean, it would be very hard for them. I guess they could pull that off, but it would just be so out there.
So you're saying
there's enough evidence pointing that she's not, but I guess that theory could exist somewhere still.
You said that the way that they portray the insane asylum in this place is very much so how in the comics he had that imprisonment with all his personalities. Mm-hmm. She was in there with him.
Yeah. Was
she a human that was just in there with him, or could she?
Yeah. Well, in the opening scene, that insane asylum was an actual place. Like it wasn't just in his mind, because his sister went back there to go find him and stuff like that. She couldn't find him because the government was covering it up that he was even there, because they found out he was a mutant and they wanted to capture him.
Right.
And they captured her so that they could get to him.
Right.
So that place was real, but he's used that place as a way to imprison like the people in his head as well. So
it's both a physical and a metaphorical place.
Yes. Like he's used it now as a metaphorical place, but
in his mind.
Yeah, in his mind, because he's comfortable there, because he's got routine and everything's like strict.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very interesting.
It's definitely one of those things you have to really you have to watch and break down because.
Do you feel the writing's really good in this?
Yes, I do. The soundtrack is amazing too. Like
Awesome.
the songs they throw in there, just everything. Like when you think you know something's gonna happen, it stops and it like flips it on its head. You know what I mean? Completely, and you're like, well, what am I watching now? Like what's happening? Why are they doing this? You know?
Yeah. That's interesting, dude.
Keeps you on your toes.
Seems amazing. Like I said, I've been wanting to catch up with it. It's on Hulu, so I need to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for this show. Final thoughts on Legion.
Final Thoughts on Legion is a great show. I believe it airs every Wednesday on FX. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Check it out on Hulu. You won't be disappointed if you like thrillers and you like Marvel. Hands down, probably one of the best kind of like sci-fi thriller shows out there right now. So.
Yeah.